Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hello.
Aman,
Morning,
how are
sir.
you?
Good
Good
morning, sir.
morning.
I'm fine, sir. How about
Good
you,
morning.
sir?
All fine. Tell me. So you all were sorry. I just
Yeah.
joined 3 minutes late, but sorry.
No issue, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing this time from your schedule. So we'll be. This is a recording that we are already recording. So I hope that's fine with you, sir.
Yeah,
Uh,
no worry.
yeah. So, sir, this is actually my group. This includes Ishan Nagrani, Parshottam
Mm-hmm,
Balla, Shreya,
mm-hmm,
and Sumanshu, and I'm
mm-hmm,
Aman Parashar. So,
mm-hmm,
as we have discussed, and this is regarding Aim to Flourish. Aim to Flourish is an organization that feels to put out stories, innovative stories about businesses, a
mm-hmm.
for-profit business organization who wants to bring out changes and bring out sustainable business, not just socially or environmentally, but also economically sustainable business. So one such story that we found was yours, and sir, we would definitely like to hear from you more about your initiative. What has been your inspirations in this journey, and also the type of innovation that you have done in your industry and in your domain. Sir. So if you can start from the about you, sir, a bit.
Your last sentence, I could not hear that due to some, I think, network issue. Can you repeat the last sentence?
Okay. Yes, sir, sure, sir. So it is that, so we want to hear about your company,
Right.
the journey that you have traveled and what has been your learning throughout.
Okay. So first, I would like to have a small introduction of each of your team member. Just a quick background. Uh,
Okay.
I mean, maybe a
Yes.
paragraph would be sufficient. Then I will also give my introduction, and then we will start, right?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir,
So
I am Aman
starting
Parashar.
with, yeah.
I am starting, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, I'm Aman Parashar. I am from Ranchi, Jharkhand. I've done my B.Tech from Kochi University of Science and Technology in marine engineering. After that, I have sailed for a while, around a year, on vessels, and I have worked in China and these places. And after that,
Mhm.
I am pursuing GDM in Goa Institute of Management.
Mhm.
It has been a great honor to talk to you, sir, and learning about your initiative.
Great. Next, Isan.
Hello. Yes. Aman, can you mute yourself? Yes. Hello, sir. First of all, good morning, sir. Sir, I'm Ishan Nangrani, and I have been born and brought up in Nagpur, and I have a background in B.Tech, computer science B.Tech, and I also have some work experience with a Canadian company, which I was hired through campus placements in a Canadian company which has partnered with Salesforce, and we help companies digitalize and help them with their e-commerce operations. So I have some work
Great.
experience with L'Oreal. I worked on a L'Oreal project with super luxurious brands like Giorgio Armani, Prada, Ralph Lauren, and many such companies. So that's all
Great.
about me, sir.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Sumanshu.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. So my name is Sumanshu Agarwal. So I'm from Mumbai. So I've done a bachelor's in mass media and to be specific in journalism. But in my last year, I found marketing as something like advertising something interesting. So I thought, why not do a MBA in marketing? So that is the reason I joined Goa Institute of Management, and yeah, I'm currently on a dream to pursue PGDM in marketing.
Great. Next is Sri.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. So, sir, my name is
Hello.
Shrey, and I'm from Mumbai. And I also done my bachelor's in management studies. And after that, I have joined GIM, and I'm a fresher. And I'm also specializing in field of finance. That's all about this.
Okay, great. So myself is Vijay Shankar. I am a simple technical graduate from Delhi University in civil engineering. I have finished my BTech in 2008, and then I joined a company called Veolia. Uh, it's a France-based utility company. Then I moved to Deloitte, worked there for 2.5 years. Then again, I moved to another company. It's a Singapore-based utility company called Sembcorp. Then I spent substantial time at Sembcorp, approximately 4.5 years. Then after leaving Sembcorp, I joined United Nations, where I worked as a technical expert, renewable energy and energy access, where I worked closely with Government of India and Government of Jharkhand. Mostly my engagement was on policy and regulatory front, including technical, and mostly I used to work with bureaucrats. Mm, that was a different experience after working in corporate sector, and then working closely with bureaucrats, senior bureaucrats, I would say, secretary, deputy secretary, joint secretary, and up to some extent politicians also. And then after quitting UNDP, I started my own organization. This was my second organization. Actually, I started my first organization in 2015. That is still alive. That is being taken care by another two co-founders. Still, I have some stake in that company, but I have exited from day-to-day operation of that company. Then in 21, parallelly, I started my own company, and I also started working as a external expert for a organization called WRI, World Resource Institute. It's a international NGO based out of Washington. They have operation in more than 18 or 20 country around the world. I mean, operation we have more than 60 country. I think they have globally 18 or 16 offices. So parallelly, I started grooming my organization, and then also as an expert, there was a revenue stream for me from the WRI. As of now, we have 6-member team, and mostly in this second company, mostly we are working in 3 segments. One is typically you would have heard that is something related to emission trading. That is the first pillar. Second is basically energy efficiency enhancement in uh, in uh, energy intensive units like steel, iron and steel, cement, textile, uh, fertilizer. These are the industry which consumes a lot of energy. Not only, I mean, energy. What I mean is the both primary energy and secondary energy. Primary energy, what I mean is basically first source of energy like coal, naphtha, fossil fuel, PNG, CNG. They use these fuels as a feed also or as a fuel also. Feed, what I mean is the composition of product basically. Like so these are the fossil fuels they use. Secondary energy, I would say that we call in some way power. They also consume a lot of electricity from the grid. So what we do is we do the entire process mapping of their production unit, and we also map at what stage what kind of energy they are consuming and what is the alternative of that energy. So we do the some sort of measurement and process mapping, and then we prepare a report and we give recommendations to those companies for technology implementation or like fuel switching. So suppose someone is using coal, but there is a opportunity to switch from coal to PNG or coal to biomass, that is a relatively renewable energy or less emissions intensive energy. So we do the calculations and we suggest them. We also suggest them to improve the efficiency of their or efficiency of their existing equipments. Like we calculated efficiency of their furnaces, efficiency of their boiler, turbine, whatever they use, motors, ACs, light, fan. So we do the entire efficiency mapping of their existing equipment, and if we find that latest technology is available, then we connect them to vendor, and they sometimes they implement it, sometimes they do not implement it. We also connect them to some sort of financing agencies which are typically have fund dedicatedly for these kind of implementations. So many banks are coming up with this, or not only bank, FI also, or venture capital also, which are need to finance these kind of technologies and services, which is bringing some sort of units to reduce the energy consumption and switching from typical conventional fossil fuel to renewable energy fuel. So reduce the emissions and these things. So like CDB have a star scheme, that is a GICA fund. World Bank have a separate fund for that. uh, Even SBI have a ESG fund separate. I know many big organizations uh, have allocated a fund for that kind of PFC, REC, uh, IREDA. These are the, I mean, three agencies are typically funding only for renewable energy projects. That is government PSU, that is called PFC, Power Finance Corporation, REC, Rural Electricity Corporations, and then IREDA, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency. So these are the typical agency which fund typically for energy transition, I would say largely from conventional to, so that is our second pillar. Third, we are basically that is also a service business. We basically help larger organization to prepare their ESG report, environmental, social, and governance report that has become mandatory at least for listed company in India. So all BSE and NSE listed company have to prepare a report. In Indian terms, we call it BRSR report, business report, business and social responsibility report. I just forget the exact terminology. So we are basically currently working in these three segments. Till now, we are completing the service segment, but we are exploring or in the process of developing some soft product as well. That is at very initial stage. We are in the process of framing the architecture and flow chart, and then we will engage some uh, agency who can code for them, code for us, or we are also exploring a co-founder who is having a strong knowledge of full stack coding. We are also doing something beyond that coding is in AI space also, which is basically for uh, doing the forecasting of renewable energy generation. So what is happening basically is mostly in renewable energy space, the energy generators are basically not a continuous energy generator. These are the uh, I would say typically like solar. So solar generate during the daytime. Similarly, wind basically generate during the high wind season, not in low wind season. So typically high wind season starting from April to it's in somewhere September, and then after September to November, December, these are the lean period where a wind machine do not get a typical cut in speed and they are not able to generate. So these sources are intermittent source of energy. So when they generate the power, then parallelly a conventional power plant need to lower their generation. But the transmission and distribution line through which we get the power are having certain system constraint. Like suppose uh, a line which is coming directly from substation to my home is designed for carrying certain capacity of current, right? If you will overload that wire, then somewhere transformer will get damaged, somewhere equipments will get damaged. So that is also happens at the larger space when the wind concentrated zone, which are basically typical uh, typically Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra belt, जो seashore वाला zone है. So from where we are getting the wind in a particular season or particular months, then the energy suddenly comes in that grid, which creates some sort of disturbance in the grid balancing. So what government is doing is asking those projects owner to forecast the energy, that how much energy your wind machine generate tomorrow. According to that only, I will basically ramp down my conventional power plant. Otherwise, if my conventional power plant will also keep running at certain PLF, and you will also feed the power from the wind or solar machine, so what will happen? Grid will get damaged. So in that, basically, every project owner need to forecast on the basis of historical data or historical generation or some sort of prediction on the weather data, like what would be the radiation tomorrow, what would be the wind speed tomorrow. So there are a lot of, I mean, two or three startups are already working in that, but still AI has not, get a space in that particular segment. So we are exploring something, uh, but we are still to develop that product basically, right? So these are the three and four things that we are doing. as of company size in terms of manpower, currently we are 6-member team. We are in the process of recruiting some trainee who can help us in preparing proposal, looking the business edge and operations. And in terms of revenue, we would be crossing approximately 10 million INR 10 million revenue this year, approximately gross revenue. So this is what all about my organization and my small team.
Thank you, sir. So it was really inspiring for us. But I just wanted to know what has been your inspiration for doing this? Like, what has been your experiences? Any changes that has pushed you towards going for this such a niche segment per se? We must say in the modern period. So.
So see, one thing is, it's basically there is a global thrust to move away from conventional energy to renewable source of energy. That is number one. Second is that somewhere also there is a thrust globally that you need to utilize resources in a sustainable manner. Whatever resources it is, either it is raw material or other it is any other resources, manpower or revenue or whatever. So there is a global thrust on that also. There is a global thrust as on one more aspect is that moving from linear economy to circular economy, right? So till date, if you will see, mostly we use the product once in a lifetime, and then most of the products whatever we use in during our lifetime. So globally there is a thrust that we need to utilize that product again and again, and we need to bring into that product the cycle. So moving from linear economy to circular economy. So if you will see, a lot of startup has come up in the plastic recycling space, right? So plastic is a basically threat for environment, I would say, and for even normal public life as well. You see there a lot of garbage constitute a large amount of plastic that we are using, but we use it a single time. We bring the vegetables, we throw it in the, and then it go into the landfill, and then what happens to that? Sometimes so basically the global thrust is to just recycle and reuse maximum time. So these three things somehow since I was working in this segment since from start of my career. So somehow it started ticking up after having a substantial knowledge of of the field. Somehow it ticked down that why not start something of your own. Uh, that was the one thought that came in my mind, and actually this was come little later. The first spark came in when I was doing parallelly some business development exercise for my previous company, Samecorp. So we were basically convincing large and bulk energy consumers to switch from conventional power to renewable power, to purchase directly power from the wind project owners. So when I was visiting uh, a lot of industrial units in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, unfortunately not Goa, uh, but all those southern states, I would say, Kerala, because these are the industrialized state, and a lot of units basically. And so there are two advantages. One was the industrialized state. Second was that most of the renewable resources are available in that zone, like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, starting from Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu, then AP. So these all 4, 5, 6 states are windy states. We call it windy states, and also a lot of industries are there. If you will move towards the middle part of the country and northeastern part of the country, then the concentration of industries is very less. So initially when team and management decided that we will start from the southern states, so we started convincing them to procure the power from wind and solar developer directly. So regulations was allowing that you can directly procure the power from them, and we somehow able to convince big players like Tata. Tata Telecom was our one of the first consumer who used to source green power, wind power to power their data center in Chennai. Similarly, we convinced few Japanese company, including Toyota, Kirloskar, uh, you take a name. So few big names. We be able to convince them to source power through. So when I was doing the BD, then somehow that basic very basic business model was to convince them. And few businesses also I started thinking that why not start something of my own in this domain as well. Fortunately, two of my colleagues communicated with me. They were also trying to switch to this sector from conventional sector. One was my matchmate Sukhi, who has done BTech with me, and then he had completed his uh, this MBA from IIM Kolkata, and one of my junior was there who was studying in IIT Delhi. So they started, uh, you know, involving with me, and they completely left the job. I would say I said that I will somehow help you financially or technically, and that is how first company born. Unfortunately, both those guys left now, but that company is still surviving. Uh, so what I have felt is, see, when a guy left a good institute like IIMs, Goa Institute of Management, Exile, whoever. So you have certain obligations or certain expectations in terms of monetary gain. And once a startup do not bring that revenue in next 2 or 3 years, then it's become very difficult to uh, survive basically. So that has happened in the first startup, but unfortunately I still keep exploring the business, and then two more people join. Then now these two people are handling that. Is that company is also uh, running, and the gross revenue is at par. I mean, they are sustainably handling that. This one is also, fortunately, after getting a lot of experience, I got good connections in big companies like Jindal, Tata. mm, um, So somehow we are able to get the consulting assignments, Semcorp, Brookfield. So as of now, we have sufficient assignments from all big utilities company, I would say, particularly renewable energy project developers. So
So,
this is how we are sustaining up to date, and that's why the three reason how I started working in sustainable or renewable energy segment.
so sir, you spoke about numerous companies like the industry leaders like Jindal, Tata, and many more. So, can you please elaborate on how your organization collaborates with these industry stakeholders? And also, you spoke about regulators. So, what kind of issues you face while speaking to them? I mean, interacting with them, be it the companies, I mean, the industry which we are speaking about, and also the regulators.
Mhm. So mostly Indian power sector is a completely regulated sector. So there are two layer of regulations. One is at central level and second is at state level. All these regulations started in 2003 after Electricity Act came in force. So before Electricity Act 2003, uh, every state used to have a company, which company used to manage all three aspects of the power: generation, transmission, and distribution. So after 2003, so first experiment happened before 2003. We call it Odisha model, where World Bank started reforming the power sector. They said that no, it is not possible to handle the all three aspects for a company. So you basically divide it in the three segments. So you make generation a separate company, generation segment a separate company, distribution a segment company, and transmission distribution a separate company. So Genco, Transco, and Discom. We call it Discom. So Genco, Transco. So this is how it's all started, and then every states have a regulatory commission. We call it uh, uh, a state electricity regulatory commission, and at central level we call it CRC, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. Right now, every year, basically, these regulatory commission reach out to different stakeholders. That includes company like Jax, like Tata, who are the bulk consumer, general public, civil societies, distribution companies, and they invite comments from them that what should happen, like tariff. You cannot change the tariff overnight. First, you will have to do a petition in the CRC. Every year, if you will see, there is a tariff schedule that they release, that particularly for this year, For domestic segment, this should be tariff. For industrial segment, this should be tariff. For commercial segment, this should be tariff, right? So this is how this starts. But a stakeholder like us basically give inputs that what should be the actual tariff, or in getting the information from the different stakeholders, they decide the tariff. Definitely, some financial calculation come in play, that what was our last revenue, what is our administrative cost, what is the power purchasing cost, what is the transmission loss. So after all this, so players like us, Tata and Jindal, everyone involved in that whole exercise as a stakeholder. Definitely, as a startup, we have little role to play, but definitely Tata and Jindal sort of lobbyism as well to get the power at lower tariff, and also retaliate on the calculation part as well, because they have a lot of you know expertise in their office. So this is how they engage with, and on that platform as experts, we also keep giving our input. So sometimes it's happened that Tata would say that no, that guy or that company, even after a small company, has given a very right inputs. Although our association with Tata and Jindal has not started from that platform, because I was in the business, so I was also involved, directly from the ACRC side also, or government side also, when I was the part of UNDP. So we used to compare our regulatory framework or policy framework with the other countries as well, like what is happening in US, what is happening in Europe, what is happening in Africa, what is happening in Asia or China, and and uh, getting the good informations or good uh, points from those policies, we try to push or includes into the in Indian or states or central or state level policy good parts, basically, which basically give benefit to all stakeholders, including distribution company or government or power procurer, like domestic players or domestic consumers, or bulk consumers or commercial consumers. So we also used to compare a state's policy with each other, you know uh, and what is the best part of that state policy we used to source. Big four are also involved in this policy framework in a big way, like Deloitte have do a lot of work with the state government distribution companies. E&Y also involved in that. KPMG, PwC, these all are, I would say, they have a separate wing for this advisory, power sector advisory and sustainability advisory. So this is how you influence regulators and contribute in the policy making. That is number one. Second, what you had asked, first question was, apart from regulatory affair, what you had asked was something
So
different. I
the
just
the key industry stakeholders, you covered that part as well. So
huh.
yeah,
So with the stakeholders like Tata and Jindal, it all started when I was working with big companies, and started uh, communicating with them, reaching out to them, that we also provide these services. You just give us a small assignment and see our quality and work. Like with Tata, how our association started is, we had conducted energy assessments in 40 number of auto ancillary units in Aditpur industrial zone. So Aditpur is a sage, basically auto ancillary sage. Most of these companies manufacture goods for Tata Steel or Tata Motors. They are mostly, although few companies used to
like
export to bigger
Varrock and
players.
all.
Yes, a few big units also export their product to Europe, like to and Japan, to Tata, to Nissan, to John Deere, and to Volvo up to some extent. So few big fish are there in that cluster also, but mostly are dependent upon the Tata Motor or Mahindra. So when we started energy auditing and renewable energy assessment exercise in those 50 units, that was the UNDP assignments that we had handled along with PTC India. Similar exercise we are handling along with Deloitte in a steel rolling mill cluster in Ahmedabad. Currently, that exercise is going on. Today only I will move to Ahmedabad. So when you interact with the industries and communicate it with industry, so that somehow that message goes to Tata as well, because Tata is the distribution licensee in that particular stage. So they called us that what kind of exercise you are doing. Then we had a discussion with AMD of that utility company, that is a 100% subsidiary of Tata Group. He said that, oh, Vijay, why not do one small thing for us as well? I say that why not? although you will surprise that we have not charged anything to Tata yet. So the MD said that he straightforward asked me one question: Are you from Marwari community? I said no, sir. अगर मरवाड़ी होते तो मैं ये बोलते कि नहीं सर मैं पैसा तो निकाल लूंगा आज न कल. That's a lighter moment. So but somehow association started with Tata, and they said that 70 of our industrial units located in the, or our supplier located in the Aditpur zone, want to move to conventional energy to solar energy. He do assessment for us, complete technical and financial assessment, and we will have a larger meetings with them, one-to-one meetings with them, and also a group meeting with them in the coming month. So 9th January has been proposed by them. There will be a uh, uh, kind of 1.5 hour 2 hour brainstorming that what is available in the market, what is preventing them, what are the barriers, what are the financial scheme available, what is the policy. So these all will be discussed. A few professors from Exceler is also involved in that. uh, MD Jusco would be there. There will be a presentation from our side. There will be a presentation from industry side. There will be a presentation from some other stakeholder as well. So this is how we started working with Tata. Let us see. I mean, although we have not become a commercial partner of Tata as of now, but yes, somehow we are working with them, and hopefully that commercial arrangement will also somehow will able to freeze that in coming months.
Yes, sir. So apart from this, anything on this, like we have discussed, the social aspect also becomes a very important role to play. So any of the thing where you feel that is a social impact of the startup that you have felt directly, and how has that been?
Like what impact it
So
might have on the local
yes,
communities
yes, yes,
and
yes, yes, yes. So see, I would like to share a few story. Also, see, as a startup, we are not, we are not capable of doing any social work. To be very honest, we are not having that much revenue or manpower or kind of leverage that we can serve society as of now. As of now, our objective is to enlarge the team, bring revenue, bring businesses, uh, do some innovative exercise around the products and all that. But yes, when I was a part of UNDP team, then we had done a lot of work where these sustainable technologies can bring a lot of advantages for for those people which are still at the bottom of pyramid. So like when I was a part of UNDP team, then apart from working with these all big companies, Tata or government or few discoms, we had focused on one segment, that how these renewable energy technology like small solar systems can help those people which are living in the rural area, like farmers, like self-help group, like farmer organization, farmer producers company. So we started exploring that which are the technology that are available in that particular segment. So we shortlisted 4 or 5 technology. One is solar pump, which has done a tremendous, I would say, penetration in Jharkhand, uh, only due to the UNDP work. I would share a story. Second is we had also selected few technology where in rural areas power, quality power supply was still an issue. The fluctuation was there a lot in the power in the rural areas. Like sometimes even they do not have power access for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days continuously. Now the situation has improved a lot after I would say successful implementation of Saubhagya scheme, particularly by the last or by the running central government. Because personally, I have visited more than 200 villages in Jharkhand which were unelectrified when we started working in the UNDP. So and we also done an exercise around those rural community irrigation. So what we found in Jharkhand particularly, the direct canal outreach or assured irrigations is only 2% in Jharkhand, 2 or 3%. The reason is that all the rivers in Jharkhand are rainy river. They are not perennial river, right? And due to the dilating topography, although Jharkhand receives a lot of rainfall, this all rain goes into the West Bengal or to the Bay of Bengal due to the uneven topography, because 30-40% of lands are in Jharkhand are basically undulated land. So due to that, the canal network has not developed in particularly Jharkhand like other states. So we had done we basically mapped the entire irrigation scheme or uh, these things in association with two NGOs, and that at that time only this Kusum scheme came in the picture. So Kusum is basically a scheme where farmers can get the solar pump on a subsidy on a subsidized price. So there is some subsidy from Ministry of New and Renewable Energy from the central government and some subsidy from state government. We pushed hard in Jharkhand that you give maximum subsidy because your state is still not having the very good canal network, and uh, most of the uh, mm, farmers are depending upon the diesel pump set. Although the land holding is very fragmented in Jharkhand, like average land holding is approximately 1 to 2 acres. If you will move to other states, the land holding is a little larger, 4 acres, 5 acres, or something like that. So that scheme came in. Somehow we made to we pushed to change in the to do the change in policy. Government agreed on that, and they give 40% subsidy from the state and 40% subsidy from the uh, central central government. So that solar pump started available. I mean, becomes available to the farmers at the rate of 12,000 to 14,000. That is very much even lower than the diesel pump set. We also work ensure to NGOs to collect the funds to bring awareness among them. So within 1 year, somehow we will able to distribute 10,000 solar pumps in the different district in the Jharkhand. And even after installation, we started interacting with farmers that how it is bringing benefit to you. They are more than happy. The farmers who used to take one crop, now it's moving to second crop. So there is a social change. So that technology basically bring a lot of social change on the ground. Similarly, we have implemented a technology called solar cold room. There is a startup by ITNs, IT Kharagpur guys, who have who started manufacturing portable solar cold room. So rather than centralized cold room, they have manufactured 5 or 6 metric ton cold room, and this cold room run on the solar, completely on solar. So we did some pilot work with the rural communities with APOs, where we, particularly in those clusters which are very vegetable rich cluster. So when in the baseline scenario, when we were interactive with them, they used to say that our only option is to either sell these vegetables to the wholesaler or go to the market, and if you are not able to sell it, and then bring the residual vegetables and feed it to the animals, or maybe uh, sell it to a throwaway price into the market. So we did pilot in 1 or 2 clusters. They started getting benefit. Then we pushed again government to bring a policy, and then again government installed. In the first phase, they installed 24 number of similar cold rooms, one in each district with APOs, and things started moving on. Similarly, we also work closely with self-help group, where these small farmers, basically female member of farmers, form a group. Basically, this was a NABARD initiative. These all things, basically, this idea came in from the Bangladesh, when this Nobel Award winner economist, what is the name of that guy, Muhammad, uh, I'm just not able to recall. So he had started that SHG formation group in Bangladesh, and started giving small micro loans to those ladies, and bring the business idea. Started manufacturing small things like sewing machine, stitching, something like that. This moment started. So that SHG idea came into the India from there. I would say globally that comes from there. So where we also closely work with few SHGs in association with NGOs, and we started mapping that what are the raw material that is available in that particular zone, like what kind of crop they grow, what is the market value of that crop, if they process it and sell it, what kind of value addition would be there, how they will sell into the market, what would be the pricing, how to do the branding. All these things started you know basically we
Sir,
started discussing internally.
sir,
Yeah, tell me.
out of all, I understood your achievement, but you mentioned about you distributed 10,000 pumps. So I wanted
Mhm.
to ask what was the highest point of achievement or sense of achievement which you felt that yes, this is something which our intent of org was, and we were today able to achieve that. So can you recall a memory or can you share
Uh,
that experience, sir?
yes, yes, I'm coming to that. So basically, see, the even United Nations have 6 or 7 sister concern or daughter concern. Basically, so UN is the main agency. They have United Nations Development Program. So UNDP's main role is to bring the development. I mean, economical development. So they keep exploring, they keep going to the bottom of the pyramid, people, and they start exploring that what is their income level, what kind of activity they do, how to enhance their income, what kind of economic value we can add. So that was definitely I mean, I would say one of the most, I would say, successful program that we had conducted during the UNDP time, and that also give us a kind of satisfaction that no, apart from the normal business, we also bring a lot of change in these people's life, right? So when we started particularly working with these 3 and 4 SHGs grow, so when we started mapping crop and started exploring that what kind of how we can basically enhance the value chain, so they used to sell the raw product into the market. So like I'm giving an example that become a very, we had prepared a video also for that, and that basically that video was presented to the UN global headquarter in Washington and Geneva, both headquarters, and people appreciated a lot. So when we started mapping, there is a district in Jharkhand, Khunti, that is very neighbor district of Ranchi, basically the state headquarter. When we started interacting with these ladies, they said that we grow a lot of ragi. We call it madua in vernacular language in Jharkhand. So this is a kind of millet, small. So in southern India, I would also, I think you would have tasted this ragi idli. They used to manufacture ragi idli also. They usually, so in South India, basically they use ragi a lot in their food. That because that is a very protein rich millet, and also very good for other purpose as well, like the people which are having high sugar level, they used to have ragi. So when we started, they said that we grow a lot of ragi, we sell it into the market to the retailers at the price of 25 rupees or 30 rupees per kg. We asked that why not you do processing, why not you make art out of it, why not you make some sort of other product out of it. They said that we don't have milling machines. Then we said that what is the cost of milling machine, how it run. They said that even if we purchase the milling machine, the power is not there. So how we'll run this machine? Either we'll have to connect it to the diesel set, or we'll have to bring a diesel engine, and that's again the cost economics do not work. Basically, the diesel price is say 100 rupees per kg. Once we run it for 1 kg, 5 HP machines consume 1.5 liter diesel. So the entire cost will go into that, and then manpower, and then something like that happens. So what we do, we again selected 4 uh, these micro units, and we powered their machines by solar. So we installed small 3 or 4 kilowatt solar solar systems along with the battery backup, and we connected those machines to the that solar system to the motors or milling machines, and successfully we demonstrated basically those typical machines which runs on the typical solar grid power that do not work with the solar power, because solar is again a variable kind of power. So we basically did some sort of innovative installation in that. Is a device called VFD, variable frequency drive. We use it in to basically control the RPM of the motor, basically. So as the solar power will also go up and down, that VFD will control the RPM of the motor. So the product output will go down and up according to that, these things. So we did some sort of backward calculations and these things. So we powered 3 or 4 SHG units. One was the ragi manufacturing unit, one was the dal milling machines, pulse milling machine, third was a this what you say is the uh, chili mixing machines, chili powder machines, and fourth was one more machine was the rice milling machines. So these all have become example for Jharkhand. Even when we came out, government agencies started, projecting that we have done this, 80 bucks. But there's always a thought process of UNDP and our team. So that give a lot of satisfaction to us that apart from the normal businesses, we have done something for those people which earning are less. We try to enhance their income, even after the connecting their machines, or in entire process, UNDP has contributed some sort of fund. And we also tried that how to bring fund from the typically banks and FI and microfinancing in that segment, because that's a big challenge. When these SHGs and FPO go for the debt financing, banks do not entertain them because of n number of reasons. They have tendency to migrate, they have low income, they do not have sufficient land, they do not have collateral, so a number of things comes in between. So we tried somehow to convince bankers and FI that no, see, these technologies are working, and start giving small finance, may link it with the production or something like that. But if you will ask for the collateral, that is not possible from these marginal farmers. So uh, we somehow tried, but it didn't work at that point of time. Now I came to know that government have constituted a separate fund to lend to these kind of units. I don't know that is still functional or not, but somehow I came to know. Then these after the setting up the processing unit, we also help them in branding. We also connect them to larger retailers like Reliance Retail and Big Bazaar and whoever were there in the city, that just give a small space to these SHGs women to keep their product in your retail house, so that people can also choose that. So these all have been done very systematically in Jharkhand. Same things is being replicated across the India. I would say a lot of work is happening in Maharashtra, in Gujarat, in other states as well, where particularly for those rural communities. So an entire exercise working with these rural community give us a lot of satisfaction, I would say.
So, you mentioned about the marginalized community. So, sir,
Mhm,
often when we discuss about sustainability, sir, the issue that comes with sustainability is that sustainability is for the ultra rich. So, sir,
mhm, mhm,
belonging to a country which has a per capita income of 2,200 to 2,500 dollars per capita, so it
mhm,
becomes really important for the people who earn less, especially in countries like India and Africa, uh, and some countries of Southeast Asia as well, sir, and South
mhm,
Asia as well, sir, neighboring countries of India. It becomes really important for companies as well as startups like you who are innovating continuously to connect with them so that we can because of the major chunk in the world today are people who earn on the in the lower strata, and there are very less people who earn very in a very big amount. So my question is that how can we bust that myth that sustainability is for the ultra rich? And so, secondly, so what are your goals of the future? What is your vision as a startup for sustainability, especially in India, sir? Because sir, India has been a target of the world community for a very long time. They do not accept our practices, the indigenous practices that we used to follow. But sir, now they are again switching back. Like sir, for example, we didn't use refrigerators for a long time. But now, sir, because of the westernization, we are using it. But now, sir, the Western countries are again switching it back to earthen pots, the mitti ka ghada, sir, where they keep water to cool down, and naturally, sir, the water gets that minerals as well. So, sir, can you explain that as well, sir? How can India as a country move forward, and what are your visions for sustainability, sir?
Yes, your question is very valid question. I would say that very good questions, that basically sustainability. Whenever the technology innovation or sustainability things start with ultra reach, and they get all the benefit. So that is why we were focusing to target the bottom of the pyramid people. So see, mostly I will talk from the technology perspective, right? That how it started with the ultra rich, but gradually it is penetrating the rural areas and those people which are living at the bottom of the pyramid. So suppose take an example of solar. So solar is basically solar energy is a sustainable product, I would say. If you will compare, then basically emission during the operational life is zero, right? So moving from conventional power to a power these things generating units to the solar power generating units. Now when technology came into the India, when I was working with Deloitte and we had prepared a DPR for Adani Group, so the cost of 1 megawatt solar installation was something around 16 to 18 crores. Now if you will see today, the cost has gone down to 4 crores per megawatt or 5 crores per megawatt. That is the one aspect. Now mostly even today, the most of the installation is happening at the larger scale, like Adani is the leader, Renew is the leader, Tata is the leader. So most of the financing part is also going into that segment, and Tata and Adani or Reliance are getting most benefit out of that, basically entire chunk. The only small part is going to the bottom of the pyramid, but it is all started. So today if you will see, there are at least 10 or 15 products, solar energy based product, which are serving rural communities, and those products are bringing a lot of change in their life. That I give an example, solar pump for example, this solar based cold room, that is number third, solar based production unit, a small production unit. So there are 6 or 7 products that came into the market that has been innovated by startups like us, or so basically they are targeting a blue ocean, I would say, rather than swimming into the red ocean. They are targeting, there is a market that as well. Yes, that market is difficult. Your consumer paying uh, capability is different, that you will have to go and visit a lot of rural areas rather than moving on Innova into the highways. uh, but when technology came, it gradually penetrate. But yes, at policy level, we need to bring the thrust, and that thrust can be, bring in the system institutions like your. You can also give inputs on the policy level. uh, Companies like startups like us, uh, civil societies, microfinancing agencies, these all need to. So I'm giving an example. Today, if Adani will go to the banks, to IREDA or PFC or REC, that I'm installing say 500 megawatt of solar, I need some sort of debt financing. They would more than happy to lend, even without checking the balance sheet. If I will go, or if farmer will go, they will ask where is the collateral. So you need to bring the policy in the system that no, you will have to also design a fund that gives lending particularly to farmers or those improvised people which are not having the collateral, but are ready to switch from conventional power to solar power, or from conventional things to sustainable things. So that's policy level. So suppose when we were also discussing policy in different forms with secretary and ministers, I had proposed a policy framework for Jharkhand, a typical fund for Jharkhand. So Jharkhand, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh, these three are the India's most coal-intensive state. 90% of the coal production comes out from these three states only. 90%. So in a way, Jharkhand, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh powering the entire country. But we will come to Jharkhand, there is still a power cut in urban area for 4 to 5 hours. I think Aman would be having better idea among you. I am facing this. If you will move to Maharashtra and Gujarat, particularly in urban area, there is no power cut. So why it's all happening? The states which are rich in resources are still low income states. So you need to bring the policy into the system. So what we had suggested, particularly I had suggested when I started, mm, uh, studying their last 2-3 years financials, annual reports of the government, we observed that there is hardly any financial provision or any policy discussions for these kind of sustainable technology or product in their annual report. They are talking a lot about that we will install 200 megawatt or 500 megawatt solar or 2000 megawatt solar in next 2 years. But that is for whom? For Tata and Adani. Where is the policy and these things for farmers and for people which are living at the bottom of pyramid? So like one policy push, like for subsidizing the solar pump, was one of the successful policy push that we had given during our uh, tenure at UNDP. So what I had suggested, so in India, the first fund was constituted for the renewable energy or sustainable product development was the IREDA. So how IREDA was found? From where this fund were mobilized? So there was a cess that was imposed on the use of coal. That is called coal cess. So whoever the company which are owning the coal mines, they I mean government imposed a policy that every coal miner have to contribute 50 paise per ton of coal production to a fund called National Clean Energy Fund, and the fund owner administrator of that fund was IREDA. So that is how that fund was constituted. Similarly, in the similar line, we had suggested in Jharkhand that you constituted a state specific fund. Whoever is bringing coal out of your boundary, impose a cess on that and constitute a fund, a state specific clean energy fund or a state specific sustainable energy fund, which will lend to each and every people irrespective of their balance sheet strength. Make some provision particularly for farmers and for those communities which are still living in rural areas, which are not having the access to power. That's number one. Secondly, I think I had conveyed this to Aman. When when this whole electrification exercise was going on, then there were villages in Jharkhand which were very rural areas, very sensitive zone, and government officers have somehow surrendered that no, we will not able to bring the transmission line or distribution line in these villages because a lot of forest areas are there, some sort of LWE, left wing affected, left wing threat were there in that area. I particularly, even my colleagues had refused to go to those villages. I said that I will go. I had visited 7 or 6 villages. I interacted with villagers, said what you need. They first said that we need power. Then we did the entire technical exercise and we did some pilots that no villages can be solarized entirely on solar. And then we pitched that idea to government. Government of Jharkhand agreed. They pushed it to the REC, and then REC also agreed. And 240 number of villages in Jharkhand has been solarized, and their entire power is coming from the solar system. So you need to have some sort of policy push. Now most of the, see, a startup like us, what is the main objective of startup like us? To survive. I mean, and to bring, I mean, to increase the revenue. Definitely one day it might possible that we will have certain level of threshold revenue and we will start pushing. If my intent or my company objective, one objective is that you need to push these policies for on policies or certain policies for particularly targeting that segment. You can also you can also create a market in that segment that can also become a revenue stream for you. Like I said that at least as of now there are 6 or 7 startups which are basically product based startup. We are not a product based startup. Their product are only targeting the rural area. So these are the sustainable products. Solar cold room. There is a company called EcoGen, InfiCold. They all are IT graduates and Harvard graduates. They have come up with some sort of innovative idea, or maybe they have copied idea from US and Europe or somewhere. But their product is specifically designed for that particular segment or that particular market. So things are moving, I would say. But yes, as you rightly said, that most of the chunks are going to the larger corporates, and they, apart from doing work on the ground, they talk a lot on the they talks a lot on the in these flashy things that yeah, sustainability, I'm doing this. But yes, few companies like Tata specifically, I would say, they are doing a lot of good jobs on the ground in the sustainability sector. They are, if you will visit Jamshedpur, uh, we were discussing, they said that we are managing the waste in a very best possible way, and we are supplying biogas generated out of the waste is for free uh, to the hoteliers and to the these things in the This might become a business for them once people have started liking it. So yes, I mean Tata Trust, I would say Tata Trust dedicatedly do a lot of funding, particularly for this kind of RE technology. So there is an organization called TRIF, Transform Rural India Foundation. They receive a lot of fund from Tata, and they specifically work with farmers, specifically also work to bring this sustainable technology into the place in the farming. There is a agency which name I'm not able to recall. Sustain Plus. Sustain Plus is also agency funded by Tata Trust, right? Some sort of foreign funding. IKEA Foundation have also given a lot of fund to them. They specifically works in these 2-3 states, and they reach out to the rural communities and they explore the ideas that how they have installed, I think, more than 300 or 400 pumps into the rural areas, and they have done a lot of water shed also in Jharkhand, and they have increased the income of those farmers which were earning or which are taking only one crop in the year. So things are moving, but yes, you need to give a big push, particularly from according to my opinion, you need to bring fund for that sector and structure a particular policy that no certain amount of fund only will go to the rural segment for implementing this sustainable technology. So suppose Jareda or PFC or REC, you can push a policy that if your fund size is say 100 million, 10 million will only go to the farmers for implementing the solar pump or for these things. So this kind of policy push is required, and now it depends. Every people cannot push this policy into the segment. People like which are having some sort of thought process that no, apart from the normal business, we will also push or do something for these communities or for rural areas. Then that the things will move. And international
Yes, sir.
front also, Purushottam, a lot of thrust are there. So like recently globally, there is a fund that has been constituted called Loss and Damage Fund. So that fund has been dedicatedly constituted for those areas which are facing a lot of threat lot of threat due to this climate change and warming. So those funds have been dedicatedly constituted for interventions in those particular areas. So things are happening,
Yes,
but yes, it might be slow
yes, sir.
going forward.
Yes, sir. No, sir. So we have hope that due to the startups and businesses like yours, and maybe in the future we also join the force and we'll be able to contribute even in a better manner. Thank you for sharing your story, and it was really an amazing time that we had learning about the nitty gritties and how this sector is growing and there is a future and how your startup itself is impacting the society as a whole. It was a really inspirational story, especially for us as a grad student, and we hope that in future we are able to collaborate as an institution or even as a personal level. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for giving us such imparting us such a good knowledge, sir.
No,
Thank you.
one more things I would like to, particularly this is for uh, Purushottam. You pronounce it Purushottam, right? Purushottam.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
there is a
Yes, sir.
so there is a startup. You just go to the site. There is a startup called Gramin Greenway. Gramin Greenway Infra.
Okay, sir.
This startup, what this startup do? This startup manufacture efficient cooker stove. So if you will go to the rural areas, still people, particularly in tribals area, people still cook on the conventional mud-made chulha. We call it chulha, and that chulha's efficiency is very low. So they burn a lot of wood into that chulha to cook the food. So now this guy is basically from my college. His name is Ankit Mathur. He's also I am Ahmedabad graduate, and he's done his MBA from Ahmedabad. Now think, so there should be intent. Passing out from DC plus I am Ahmedabad, he could have got a brilliant job, right? But even for last 10 years, he's sticking with his startup. He manufactured that cooker stove. That efficiency is approximately 25%. So when a family use that cooker stove, instead of burning 10 or 15 kg of wood in that chulha, you will have to burn only 5 kg of wood. That also reduce the smoke. And surprisingly, ADB has given them fund very recently to distribute 10 lakhs chulha in MP and Odisha. So So multilateral agencies, typically like UN, ADB, they have, apart from the normal funding, they also focus a lot on that segment. But still that fund is peanuts, I would say, singing the population size and market size. But yes, as far as these things are moving, I mean, as the things are moving, I would say that they are also started, uh, you know, mm, basically targeting that segment and bring sustainable product into that market segment. So approximately for 10 lakhs chulha, I would say multiply it by 10 lakhs into 3000. What is the funding size? Approximately 30 crores, I would say. So yes, there are intent
More than
and
that,
even
sir.
multilateral agency. Okay, thanks a lot. Nice meeting you all, and all the best for your future endeavor. Keep in
Thank you so
touch.
much, sir. Thank you for your valuable
Thank
time,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you
Sir,
so much.
sir,
Thank you
before
so
we
much.
Thank you,
close
sir.
the call, I have a one small question.
Yeah.
You were talking about you work with numerous stakeholders and all. So, sir, what is the pace of the projects you work on? Like, how much time does it take to get a decision from your side, and how much time does the government take to implement that decision? Just a time frame, if you could elaborate on.
Yes. I think you become you reach to the bottleneck point. So see, government moves with its own pace, particularly
Yeah.
if you work in the corporate segment, and when you move to work with the government, it will bring a lot of mm, I would say irritation within you. When I moved to UNDP and when we started pushing the things into the government, I sometimes thought that, yeah, this is not my cup of tea. I should have continued with the corporate segment. So you need to have patience. That is number one. The things moves, but definitely it moves, particularly in states like Jharkhand or Bihar, I would say, or those are states which are not having a agile system in place. If I would have been so suppose I'm not, it's not a biased thing. I'm giving you an example that it varies a state to a state. If a state government is agile, their focus is clear, you will be able to implement policy within 6 months or 1 year. Even for that matter, I find that multilateral agencies are also very slow. So UN also move with its own pace. So from outside, you might have been thinking, oh, getting a job in UN and ADB, what a job, yeah. I mean, good salary, a lot of benefits, moving, a lot of things. You won't believe when you used to go to the outer station, SP level guy will take care of your security. The direct message from UN system will come into the district DM system or government system that this guy is moving from Chatra to Kunti or Ranchi to Kunti. You will have to take care of the security of that guy. But that is one aspect. My intent is coming from the corporate, my intent is to finish my job, not taking the VIP security. So that all flashy things, it is in their policy. It's a one aspect. But even in multilateral agency, things move very slow. When we used to conceptualize the project here on being on the ground, seeing the ground reality, if we will push this project into the system, they will take, even multilateral agency will take a lot of time. They will say that this risk is there, you cannot go there, this, a lot of things. We used to fight a lot with the head of our vertical. I say this to come to the ground, sir. I am singing that this should be a success. You are saying no, there a lot of risk is there, government will agree or not agree, financial agency. I said that left all those things to me. I'm on the ground. I will push that thing. You just give us go ahead. So that is there. So I would say that pace is still very slow in the multilateral agency. That is number one. And second, if you will come to the government, definitely the in particular few states it goes like anything. One my
Okay.
I'm sharing one personal experience about Jharkhand. When we did the pilot for this rural community for APO, this installing this cold room, it took us 3 years to pitch Jareda to adapt this technology and do the pilot and mm, bring some sort of do some sort of provisioning for installing this 4024 system. We reached to the CM level. Then the directive came from the CM. Then only this guy is awake that no, now the directive from the CM, we have to do some pilot in the every districts. So it took 3 years. You can imagine. So if you will incorporate, you would get lost that, yeah, what I am doing. The similar also, the space varies state to state. I'm giving an example. When I was in Deloitte, I was leading the team. I was preparing the master plan for two solar city. That was a MNRE program. The one was Surat and second was Simla. In Simla, I'm not giving you a biased things. I'm giving you a personal experience. In Surat, in Gujarat, the CM was Modi, the BJP government. In Simla, uh, there was a Congress government. The name of the CM was with
Sir, Veerbhadra Singh, if I'm
Virbhadra
not
Singh,
wrong.
right? And this project was allotted to us from the MNRE to Deloitte to prepare the master plan for two solar city to make this. So basically, the idea was to make those cities self-sustainable in terms of energy, utilizing their resources. What kind of solar that can be installed? What kind of waste they generate? Can we do the waste to energy product there? So in map, the first phase was the baseline establishment, where we used to map the entire resources that is available within the municipal boundary, not not outside the municipal boundary, right? So that was the waste. One resource was waste. Second was rooftop that is available within the city, residential, commercial, industrial, uh, any kind of institutional. So we mapped the entire institution. What is the number of government schools, what is the number of private school, what is the roof area available, how much solar can be installed, what is the cost, from where fund will come. Then we mapped the entire energy system, that how much energy they are consuming, which segment, what is the penetration of kerosene, what is the penetration of gas. So we did the entire exercise for 1 year for both cities. Particularly, I used to stay in Simla continuously for 3 4 months. I saw the winning shot by Dhoni in the Simla. When I was in Simla, the World Cup final was being played. So still I remember that moment when I was sitting in the Moti Mahal hotel and I watched the entire match. So anyway, so and similar exercise we used to do in Surat as well. When it's come to the data collections, we were getting the data next day when we were interacting with the Surat Municipal Corporation. When we are coming to Simla, they said that just go and took the file. That all files are dusty. You punch the data in the hard copy to soft copy. Even sometimes they said, come tomorrow, come tomorrow, come tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. So the whole exercise that we had concluded for Surat in 6 months, that took 1.5 or 2 years for Simla. So
Yes, sir.
it depends
Depends on
that
the state as well.
how
Yes,
how
yes, I get
agile
it.
is government, what is their focus area. So if you will come to Jharkhand, so most of the revenue for Jharkhand government still come from the solar sale, from the sale of this coal. If you will if you will say them that, sir, in next 4 year you should move from coal to renewable energy, they say that from where revenue will come. So uh, it just happened. So lighter moment. So these all depends, the pace all depends that what is the hunger in the government, what kind of bureaucrats are there. Even it varies table to table. I'm giving an example. We were having a, when we joined the even these things project, energy secretary was a IAS officer called NM Kulkarni. He's from Maharashtra. He's also a doctor. You might have heard a very good this thing about him. He was recently traveling on a Indigo flight or some flight, and then some sort of uh, issue happened with one child on the flight. So he was a doctor. He moved there and he quickly started giving treatment to him. And fortunately, he started breathing again. So the kind of officer we have seen, a kind of agility we have seen in him was amazing. It's like corporate. When we went to them with the DPR, 60 or 70 page thick DPR, he said that Vijay, show me table. I'm not interested in all this literature. Show me table. What is the cost? What will be the output? How we can, where I need to pitch to these ideas. But when he changed, when again second IS officer comes, he said that I'm not interested in this. You just keep it on the table. So
Yes,
the many dynamics
yes,
works when
I
you
get your point.
start
Yeah.
working